He woke asking where he was, then saw a goddess, asking if he was summoned. The guy remembered his past life, then refused to join them, and the goddess understood. Moments later, he wakes from a strange dream, wondering if he slept outside. Looking around, he asks, "What is this place?" He wondered why he was in the forest. Was this another world? He couldn't believe it. Hearing his voice, he felt strange. He checked himself. Where was his uniform? He abruptly clutched his head, realizing he'd truly changed. He couldn't believe it, completely lost as panic gripped his face. Fuji tried to remember he was with his classmates, then suddenly talking to the goddess. Recalling the summoning talk, he didn't mind going, but refused to join this group. Fuji figured his stubbornness sent him solo, not a call, but a rebirth. He rushed to a nearby river to check his reflection. Fuji saw his cute face, fair skin, fragile body, and shrunken height, then touched himself, wondering if he was missing. He pulled back his pant leg, checked, and sighed. His elephant was safe. Feeling it in this body felt strange, a strange, even sinful failing. Fuji remembered his backpack, then checked his gear. He found food and basic supplies, then spotted a bag of coins, clueless about their actual value. Fuji scanned the gear and demanded his weapon, fearing monsters. Suddenly, he noticed something. A screen popped up revealing his item box. Inside were swords, a shield, a breastplate, and a potion. He was finally safe. Renobai claims more cheat skills, challenging him to reveal them. Instantly, a status window pops up. He saw his level 1 Traveler skill was weak, plus low-level unique skills, detailed analysis in subject box. Fuji wondered if a toolbox and analysis were his only powers. Are these really his cheat skills? He weighed what mattered in this info world. He'll stay positive. He began analyzing everything, using his skill on every object and even the system terms. His item box has special powers. Quick equipment lets him preset gear for instant use. Class level beats character level and skills grow with use. Class is everything here, so he wondered about the Traveler. This world's like the game, but even better. What if he dies here? Can't test that, so he must be careful. He can't stay here past dark. Monsters hunt these woods. With his cash ready, he heads for the city. Fuji headed downriver and spotted a bridge. Relieved to find a road, he suddenly heard a noise. He turned, spotted a carriage, and a closer look shocked him. An elf girl rode the first horse. He waited. A beast-eared girl sat in the carriage. He realized this was another world, instinctively hid, then saw the girls and found them wonderful. He realized he could have hitched a ride, but the carriage was long gone. He'd totally blown it. He wasn't mad. Seeing a fantasy race was a total thrill. Fired up, he spotted the carriage and asked if they were waiting for him. He looked closer, saw the road was blocked. Knowing something was wrong, he ran that way. The beast girl fought back, warning of the attack, while the elf realized it was an ambush and ordered full combat readiness. They were outnumbered. The bearded man ordered, "Crush the girls, seize the cargo, but don't kill the women." Fuji suspected a bandit raid. This world is creepy. Robbers outnumber guards and everything's falling apart. He thought about helping, but dismissed it. He's level 0, can't just rush into battle, no tutorial. Fuji couldn't just watch. He grabbed his sword, charged the bearded man, and stabbed him. The impact knocked him flat, but he'd already sliced the man in half. He was stunned. This mithril blade was way too powerful. Seeing their leader dropped in one hit, terror gripped the men as the elf girl ordered the attack. She unleashed her windblade magic. The MC saw real magic, and the situation instantly flipped. One man screams that Fuji killed their leader and charges, swearing to crush the small brat. He caught up and impaled the man. The stench of blood made him gag, proving this was no dream. He killed to survive, questioning if life in this world is really so cheap that people die for a robbery. Sick, an elf and a beast-eared girl approached, asking if he'd calm down. He replied, more or less. They thanked him for the opening to counter and escaped mostly unharmed, but Fuji felt he'd just stumbled into it. The elf girl apologized for not introducing herself, then introduced herself as Rugnessa, head of the merchant caravan's security. He reaches out and introduces himself as Toy, secretly spelling his real name, Fuji, in katakana. Rawani told him to wash the blood off in the river before she delivered him to Mr. Galteo. Fuji asked to swim together, but she already knew his secret. He was a woman in disguise. He tried to explain, but they cut him off, saying, "Don't worry, it'll be fine," then started undressing him. He begged them to wait. The eared girl ignored him, stripped naked, adding he had nothing to be ashamed of, his whole life ahead, then spoke to herself. The world felt overwhelming, so he started washing. Procedures finished, he thought his cover held until he spotted a man beside Ruin-Ease. He met the trade boss, Mr. Golteo, who kindly offered him a ride to Kel Neafi. The MC was hyped to explore, and the man confirmed the city's dungeon is the Baldark Labyrinth. Adventurers worldwide flock here for its treasures and loot. It's buzzing with energy. Goltio runs his trading company out of Kel Neafi. Fuji recommends registering at the guild to enter the dungeon, but to get rich, you'll need skills and strength. Dungeons are deadly. Most dive in teams, but more people mean smaller payouts, and without trust, you're dead. Fuji realized soloing dungeons was suicide, so Goltio suggested buying a servant to build a party. Shocked, he asks about the servant, realizing they actually exist in this world. Their contract hires with rights. Forcing them beyond contract or treating them inhumanely is illegal. Goltio almost forgot to give it to the main character, then held out 2 cards, the achievement cards of the robber he killed. He stared at the glowing map, asking, "Is this a record map? Why is it glowing?" Goltio shot back, "You really don't know." Fuji's analysis showed cards popping from chests after death. They're traded for cash, but he was stunned they actually come from humans. He laughed and said no, adding it's been a long time since he's seen something this good. Goltio thanked him for the rescue and pulled out a pouch. He refused the money, saying he wasn't in it for that, but his body charged forward. Goltio claimed his noble honor was at stake, insisting that refusing his thanks would shame his company, so he begged them to accept. He paused, then agreed as the man said Kel Neafi was visible. They were close. Kel Neafi is a massive dungeon city, second only to the capital. Home to the Baldark Maze, he tells Goltio he's sticking around for a while. The man walked him to the inn and paid months of rent up front. He clearly liked Fuji. Inside, he knew this was his first home in another world. The atmosphere was palpable. Tired, he reached his room and welcomed the crib. His blood-soaked clothes needed washing before bed, so he grabbed a basin. Hostess warns no running water. Mage stones provide it. No soap, so plain water wash. Fuji's annoyed he can't wash. Bathrooms are a luxury here. Public baths are rare, private ones are for nobles, and most just use a damp cloth. The toilet's a pit with a bucket, no drain. Paper's expensive, so they use leaves. Even this good hotel shows the world's terrible infrastructure, worse than he expected. Cold under the covers, he had no clean clothes since he washed his only set. He can't go out like this, but desperately craves hot rice. 3 words, cut 5 S2 and checks his money. 4 words, cut 5, perfect. Suddenly, he sneezes and checks his money. The goddess gave 10,000 gurials for starting equipment, and Goltio matched it with another 10,000. Analysis proves the gorilla currency equals 1 Japanese yen. He realized he had 600,000 yen and could buy anything. He stopped, realizing he must spend wisely or it'd all vanish. Tomorrow he'd get new clothes, and for the dungeon, better armor. From his window, he watched the street, wondering if they'd also entered this world. Fuji cut all ties with them in that world. He wants to forget it all, sick of remembering. The main character clenched his teeth. He didn't want to go through this even in this world. Fuji-ug is history. He's a toy now, forced to forget his past and focus on the future. He's determined to live in this new world as nothing but a toy. He lived for solo play, determined to conquer this world, but a busy day left him dead tired. Suddenly, a window popped up, announcing a new item. Skill levels boosted analysis, status, and customization, letting him change status anytime, but then he passed out. Meanwhile in Malgus, Princess Ermida questioned the news, and the men confirmed it. Glasses Guy confirmed no mistake, they double-checked. Several summoned from another world had hero class. The princess was confused. They were here to save the kingdom, but everyone just whined about missing smartphones and the weird locals. Among the heroes, one was a criminal. She shouted, "Nonsense." A man heard her and raged. The girl realized Fuji was missing. She thought he was right there, but he'd vanished, and she desperately called his name in her head. While he slept, a system window popped up naming him a natural hero. The brunette never spoke to him properly. She longed for another chance to see him. She realized he'd vanished, forced to struggle all alone. She stopped, realizing thinking was useless. She'd give her all, then find him. She told him to wait. In the Margus capital, Hermira stood before a crowd as a man asked who she'd be teaching. He didn't care she was royalty. When she called him a criminal, he demanded to know who they thought they were. He warned calling them without permission, and not knowing how to get them back is serious. Furious, he asks if they're bullying them, but the princess tells him to relax. It's a request, not an order. Ramerda called them to save the kingdom from a threat, but now monsters massively appear across the country. To stop this, clear the first 10 dungeon floors and kill the monsters. Records say this stabilizes everything. Do nothing, and in years, monsters escape the dungeon, devastating the country. The princess called them heroes, begging for help to keep them raiding the dungeons. She offered them everything in the castle, but no ritual to return home exists yet. The princess promised, complete the mission, and the country guarantees your way home. Aemurda promised noble titles to anyone who stays after the victory. The girl nearby asked if it was true they could live in a castle with noble status. Storm Hero Hate Yusida declared they have no choice. Golden Hero Sado Doi didn't care if it was a dungeon, he just wanted something to smash. Glasses told him to wait, they'll first take a peace course, then a month of combat and magic training for safety. The first guy snapped, turning to the man and hurling insults to shut him up. Fiery Shinji Akaba arrived, declaring they'd do things their way and eager to test the hero's limits. An armored man told the princess to step back, calling the hero's actions too much, but she stopped him. Amerda gets it, anyone wanting to hit the dungeon now can form squads, try it, and will prep their gear. He asked if she was sure. She agreed, saying it's better to let them have their way than face their force. An alchemist named Sayaka Iskashima called out, suggesting they find another ally and asking what was wrong with him. The princess denied it, claiming the final count was unknown, but her records show 34 people. Sayaka realized no one noticed the MC was missing. They were too busy arguing about the dungeon and surrender until Shinji suddenly decked a man and ordered him to get lost. Girl decided to avoid them. Hate warned, don't break my sandbag. Sayaka felt it was better for Fuji. In the hotel, she asked why he ate everything. Since girls never finish such big portions, he just asked where to shop. The main character decided to explore the city, grabbed his bag, and resolutely headed out. Washing up after waking, he felt a dream fading, but the details were gone. Checking the mirror, he realizes sleep changed nothing. He still looks like a boy or maybe a girl. Inside, he's 18. He looked at his face, wondering if he could pass for younger. Reborn as someone new, he's ditching his past to treat this world like a toy. He sat at the table, food before him, morning steak on his mind, devouring this portion. Thank Oltio for this nice hotel. Now, he just needs a way to make money. In a city with a dungeon, exploring it became his immediate goal. He sat at his desk, opened the info panel, and reviewed last night. Status setting and class management were added to his skills. Status settings let him assign STP. He is 0 now, but they'll be vital after leveling up. Class management is the real game changer. He can swap classes at will, skipping the temples everyone else is stuck with. The info shocked him, activating his gaming brain. He pictured changing classes. We also thought he could change class on the spot. It was a total cheat skill. More classes meant more power. He's now a traveler, villager, cook, trader, and loader. Constant walking and cooking unlocked these classes, as everyone has unique conditions. 2 special classes, Avenger and Hero of Rebirth, make it tougher. Avengers must survive 100+ terrible situations, maintaining resistance, while Rebirth heroes need God's recognition, reborn from another world. Toy hated the idea. He refused to seek revenge after being born and wanted everyone to just move on. This Rebirth hero has a unique class. Using others' classes invites trouble and instant identification. He's ditching both classes to pose as a villager or traveler until he finds a combat role. He finally hits the city, scanning the bustling crowds and exotic goods. The Galtio Trading Company controls everything in the city, from food to weapons. He reached their massive building. Inside, he finds a store within a store that looks like a massive local mall. Toy decided to take everything for a hotel stay and put it in an object drawer. Clothes, underwear, socks, that's enough. He needed a spare weapon, armor, and a potion. He doubted he could win solo, but Galtel spotted him while he was distracted. The man was glad. He immediately looked at him. The main character greeted him. He asked if he was looking for something. Toy prepped for the dungeon solo, weighing his options while Coltio recalled his own words. He asked the main character for time, then they headed to the basement. The men said this was the servant floor, but PY told him to wait since he wasn't buying anyone. The man replied he wasn't thrilled with servants, but it was better than risking it alone. They even used dungeon veterans. A magic contract binds servants, making betrayal impossible, as contracts limit actions and ensure secrecy. Godio asked his thoughts, suggesting looking might find clues. Toy just replied, I'll just look. He found the servant idea unsettling, maybe it's normal here, but he refused to buy a life for money. He wouldn't be like bad people. Families survive by selling members as servants. It's basically a hiring system, but they're split into voluntary and controlled groups. Since the cash came from this man, he decides to hire some backup. One girl calls him a cutie and asks him to be her master, while another guy promises to keep him happy all night. The MC flushed at the words. Goltio warned such servants are expensive. The man added that for their dungeon budget, he could only list specific people. 6 people faced them, 2 girls. His analysis skill revealed their varying classes and levels, even spotting a priest among the servants. They're low-level, single-digit researchers, but still outclass new peasant researchers because non-peasants get basic skills and stat bonuses. Goltio said to find high-level help directly through the Researcher Guild. Toy's currently a frontline swordsman, so he should hire a tank or healer. He disliked something. 2 million yen wasn't a profitable purchase. A heavy fighter, a willing servant, cost 200,000, a priest 220,000. He remembered something and asked the man if there were more mages like yesterday's elf girl. Goltio says servants are too rare to recommend, but Toy insists he knows someone. The man replied that among the controlled services who committed serious crimes was one girl magician. Stunned by the crime, he asked if she was too dangerous to recommend. The man says danger isn't the issue, but for her it's different. Nobody wants her, even for free. Toy wondered if this was a flag. Is she attuned you're destined to fall for him? At her cell, the man revealed the magician was over 300, too old for labor. Shocked, he asked if it was really 300 years old, as it blew past his wildest guesses. Goltio claims she caused an explosion during magic experiments, and the blast wave pulled everything nearby together. She claims it was an accident, but the damage adds another 100 years, leaving him absolutely stunned. They say she's part elf, explaining her long life. By law, she's forced to work the mines tomorrow. She knew it'd be hard at her age, but she only had days left to live. He exhaled, pondering his hit. He then asked the man if he could talk to her, and the man agreed. He approached the camera, greeted his grandma, gave his name, then asked hers. The old woman stayed silent before revealing her name was Analyze. He asked where she wanted to go. The old woman said she wanted back in the dungeon. Toy buys it, knowing it's purely for himself. Even after rebirth, he hasn't changed at all. Heading home, he slung the old woman on his back, recalling carrying his grandma from the hospital. Goltio warned him that masters are responsible for their servants forever, but he signed the contract without a word. Toy worried he was too impulsive, buying an old lady servant just 2 days after his rebirth. He has money, so for a fee she can live in his hotel. Feeding her won't be a problem for now. In the room, he gave her the bed and took the floor, certain nothing would happen. Waking to her cold was creepy, but he never imagined Analyze would prove so vital. 3 days after rebirth, he wakes up on the floor and slowly opens his eyes. Terrified, he faced an old woman who apologized for taking his bed. Remembering yesterday's agreement, he confessed she'd scared him, but he was fine, then asked her well-being. She replied he made her feel better. Her stomach growled. He asked if it was her stomach. She stayed silent. He knew, time to eat. Downstairs, a dish arrived. He warned the fish portions were huge, suggesting they split it. He orders meat for the old woman, but watching her eat makes him suspicious. Her teeth are way too strong for a normal elder. He called her grandmother, but she denied it. He used her name, then she demanded San be added. Toy asked if she was a dungeon veteran, and she confirmed it. He wanted to learn every secret, so she told him to ask away. She looked weak yesterday, but avoiding the mines energized her. Maybe she was just hungry. Analyzing the old woman, he found she was a high-level magician. Though frail and barely walking, her stats dwarfed his. She broke down the basics: gear, dungeon rules, guild registration, and trading cards for cash. The Explorers Guild is packed with melee warriors, few use bows. Students join the army, arrows are expensive, researchers go broke fast. Only the rich and nobility use them. He asks why 5 or 6 members is the standard, and she explains it's the perfect balance for combat and loot. Toy asked if soloing the dungeon was risky. She called it reckless. You need a scout. Beginners die to traps and monster ambushes. He knew he needed a group first, desperate to keep his rebirth a secret. Elise promised with her they'd be safe. Her magic finds traps and monsters. He asked if she could really do it, realizing magicians handle multiple roles. No wonder they're so valuable. Toy warned her that taking her into the dungeon would still be a major problem. He should leave her waiting at the hotel. Carrying Grandma through the dungeon feels like torture, but she begged him to bring her along. Emily told him to ditch her if she slowed him down. She was desperate to enter that dungeon. Smiling, he understood they'd go together and give it their all. Soon they reached the dark maze. He knew he was finally here, his first dungeon ever. They stepped through the portal onto the first floor. It was massive and way brighter than he expected. Annalie calls this the entrance floor. From here, choose a route. Paths branch and converge, yet all lead to the boss room. This isn't a physical dungeon, it's a game subspace. He told the old woman not to strain, he'd handle fights, just follow. His initial armor felt too heavy, so he switched to leather. Shocked, Analyze demanded what happened. He explained it was a fast outfit, a convenient item box function. The old lady asked if his loader pass gave him a second item box, but Toy revealed it's actually innate. Analyze asked if his skill was unique and his sword mithril. He questioned her understanding, then added it meant he was special. He turned to see her soul escaping and screamed for her to come back. Stunned by his rare skills and blade, Annalie warned him to hide them from jealous eyes and look ahead. He turned to find a level 1 gray rat. He begged for a second to prepare, but as it lunged, he sliced it to pieces. He succeeded and rat meat fell out. Their slow, one light strike with this sword is all he needs. He told the old lady to stay back, only giving advice. She pointed at 2 rats. He panicked. As he weighed his targets, Analyze unleashed her fire magic. Toy stared as enemies dropped sharp teeth and rat meat. The old lady, level 21, knew first-floor monsters couldn't compete. Using her swordsman experience, she fixes his form, adjusting his stance and demanding more weight behind his punch. His grandma was so cool, he knew he'd picked the best servant. Reborn, he woke in this world, unaware how vital clearing the dungeon was. In Margus' royal capital castle, they asked, ready. 14 people head straight for the dungeon, including Akaba's 3 heroes. The others remain in the castle for basic training. Sayaka's with them. The princess realized the group was perfectly divided, criminals and non-criminals. Sayaka asks Akaba about preparing. Akaba questions her authority, and he calls her a chemist. The girls asked why they'd still study in another world. Fun beats boring books, and following the heroes pays way more. Ikimizusawa, Azure Sea's hero, warned rushing into battle blind is unwise. They'd rather assess their strengths first. Aplaba cursed the weaklings, telling them to rot there forever. Princess saw him as a leader even here. His supporters act cautiously but expect more. The real problem lies elsewhere. Even among the 10 heroes, this leader stood apart. His record card lists serious crimes: assault, blackmail, arson. He's completely indifferent to others, dangerous and cruel even to his allies. Even if he clears the dungeon, they could still turn their weapons on them at any moment. Hero skills crush the early floors, but they'll need teamwork soon, and that's the real challenge. The state announced a nationwide, state-funded hero summoning ritual. It's a crucial project. Failure isn't an option. The princess said the royal capital dungeons are tougher. Akaba immediately asked what she meant. Her mother told them not to rush, warning them to have the courage to retreat if they couldn't handle the pressure. Akaba snapped, shouting that moments like these define real heroes. Princess saw only reckless bravery, wondering if she could guide them into true heroes. Things just got interesting. Everyone has their own agenda. These were the goddess's thoughts. She looked down, wishing all heroes luck. For days, the main character, an old woman, explored the first-floor maze. Playing it safe, they grinded levels on the first floor. Geared up for gray rats, they cleared the zone with ease. Leveled up and battle-hardened, he now handles weak monster groups alone, thanks to Analyze's magical perception detecting foes early. Dungeon monsters usually drop items, their bodies vanish. Rare, expensive drops are a nice bonus. Walking was tough at her age, but Analyze never complained, so he planned more breaks and called her name to talk. He explained everything, but she doubted he could change classes alone, so they grabbed a meal first. Analyze warns that class changes cost a fortune at temples, but his analysis skill lets him do it for free. The old lady asked what he said. He replied, analysis skill. She yelled, asking if he had analysis, then demanded his total unique skill count. Analyze asked who he was. His mithril sword proved he wasn't a simple traveler. He told her to calm down and promised to explain later, but honestly he was still clueless. He asked her to change classes before the first-floor boss battle. Scanning the list, he unlocked the Explorer class, built for dungeon crawling and treasure hunting. Analyze pressed him about being a researcher, adding it was a great option. The researcher is an advanced support class. Despite useful skills like sensing danger and boosting item drops, it's not combat-focused, so they're rarely used. He asked if the class was weak, but she said it beats commoners, levels faster, and earns more. He was stoked. They stood at the ground floor entrance. The guy decided his first class shift was about to begin. He chose a researcher. After the choice, his look shifted, sporting cool glasses on his forehead that the old lady found sweet. He triggered his dungeon movement skill, arms outstretched as magic cloaked his body. His magic revealed a wooden door with a handle in the wall. He stepped through the door like it was another dimension where anything was possible, but was shocked to find himself right back where they were last time. Annalie said the door installs anywhere but vanishes after one use. He thought this was a real cheat skill, incredible. It drains mana but covers the return trip while sparing the old lady. He's shocked no one else used it. Experienced adventurers use this investigator class for quick sweeps. To get it, you must reach dungeon floor 10 or solo 10 monsters. He accidentally met a hidden condition. He turned to the old woman, saw her soul leaving her body again, and called her name, begging her to return. After nearly dying, she apologized, saying the non-stop surprises left her breathless. Analyze warned him hide his class and dungeon changes, it's trouble, he agreed. He said the new class was great, finish early, just sort the subject box. Then he turned to the old woman, hungry. She apologized for overstepping her place and asked if he was a hero. Afraid of her question, he spun away, demanding why she'd think that, then flat-out denied it. Before Kel Neafi, Annalie served in the capital and heard rumors of a massive hero summoning. Only 1 in 10,000 possess multiple rare skills. It's impossible for a normal person. Maybe he's linked to the heroes. She apologized and told him to forget her words. He'd noticed the old woman and brought her to the dungeon. Whoever he was, he'd always be her savior. Annalie said she doesn't know how long she has left, but she'll be grateful to him for life. Looking at her sadly, he called her name, ready to confess everything. Suddenly a strange feeling hit him. When she asked what happened, he replied he wasn't sure, but his treasure hunting skill activated. Tui pointed to the wall, claiming it was behind it. She replied her magic found no hidden doors. He asked if he could just smash through. Analyze steps up, focusing her magic into a massive mana hand fist. He smashed through the wall, revealing a secret room and a treasure chest. It looked expensive, and Annalie confirmed it was high tier, a rare find for the first floor. Her magic misses traps, but poison needles are possible. She offered to go first, but he waved her off. He didn't know why, but this chest felt destined for him. He'd open it himself. The chest popped open, revealing a bottle. He asked what it was. As they describe the clear bottle and call it a potion, Analyze grows more shocked with every word. She collapsed, he demanded answers, and the old woman revealed the truth. She couldn't believe it was real. Toy asked what it is it that rare? It's a curse-lifting potion only found in dungeons, impossible to make artificially, and costs over 100 million gorillas. He asked Analyze if this was why she was so desperate to enter the dungeon. The guy asked if the potion search dragged her to the dungeon. She confirmed, then trembled. Her body changed so she couldn't explore dungeons. She tried creating one, but a disaster struck. He tried asking about the potion, but she cut him off, calling it an ultra-rare find that barely hits the market once a year. She sent him to Galtio for money. Its existence is enough. Maybe someday she'll buy it herself. The old woman urged him to think. Selling it would let him hire anyone, and it's too valuable for a basic 200,000 gorilla servant. He understood perfectly and asked if she really wanted him to spend it on himself. The guy refused to exchange it for money. Analyze immediately shouted as he began to open the bottle. Declaring he'd used the potion on his friend, he asked if it was safe, then poured it on Analyse's head. Caught off guard, the old woman spun around and demanded to know why. A coughing fit cut her off. She looked terrible, and Toa panicked, asking if this was normal. Did her body collapse from the potion, making him curse not giving small doses? He touched her burning skin and shouted her name as a blinding light filled the room. Light vanished, revealing a young girl in his arms. He demanded to know who she was. Toa blushed and called her name, feeling soft inside. She answered, confirming his words as he wondered if she was just too pretty. He turned away, happy for her. She then realized she was naked and apologized. Toy was stunned. She'd transformed from a frail grandma into a lover, and the power was beyond anything he imagined. He expected this, but the massive scale leaves him no time to process. Analyze thought he saw her naked, but they'd cleaned her yesterday, so anger was pointless. She asked to head back, and he agreed. She needed to get to the hotel and change. Thanks to dungeon movement, they quickly reached and entered the hotel room. He realized he'd be sharing a room with this beautiful servant forever. 2 weeks since their summoning, Sayaka is an alchemist, a non-combat class built for industry. Alchemists aren't the only ones. Herbalists, blacksmiths, item makers, and tailors all hone their skills in workshops. The girl finished the magic potion and her friend cheered. It finally worked. Psyche doesn't explore the dungeon, she provides all the gear. Azure sees hero and combat researchers train hard, honing skills. Then, groups form for the dungeons. In the Metropolitan Dungeon's third floor Joel's Labyrinth, Ahaba questioned their arrogance, demanding scouts work properly since they're constantly ambushed. He forced them to haul everything, then asked how they'd even managed to fight. The guy insisted fighting normally was impossible. The tired girls on the sidelines asked to leave. Mr. was over. Akaba said these girls were totally messed up, blaming them for recklessly shooting magic and building a house. He ordered them not to advance until told. The golden hero bragged about his status, but Hate called him a weak, fake leader. Akaba spun around, demanding to know what they said. They turned on each other, annoying the watching girls, while survivors braced for the next enemy wave. They reached the castle. The princess asked if team infighting caused another retreat. No one died, a small victory. They showed prudence. In the lab, herbalist Konomi Mukumura told an exhausted Sayaka to rest. Sayaka thanked her, planned more work, then sent her to rest alone. Konomi asked if she worried about the main character. She barely spoke to him and knows nothing. After his house burned down, he quit school. She suggested he might not have come to this world since he wasn't with them, but Sayaka initially thought he was, though she couldn't be sure. He helped her once, so now she's heading out to find him and return the favor. Sayaka admitted she was forcing her own desires, and Konomi's eyes flashed. The girl said she was well, then handed her the potion. Drink it. She was happy for her. Their chemist grew so much. Sayaka realized she misunderstood everything. It wasn't like that. She only wanted to meet and talk to him again. In Kel Neafi 1000 km southeast of the capital, rumors spread about top-ranked chest traces found on the first floor. The first floor gave them a shot. They wondered who found him, but with no mandatory guild reports, the finder and loot stayed secret. A man admits he'd also stay silent if he found the treasure. He's super lucky. He suddenly jumped on the bed, wondering what was happening, a hotel or a dream. It felt like a weird dream where Annalisa had changed. Then he felt something soft. It wasn't a dream. He remembered the old woman was now a young girl. Relieved to be young again, Annalise sobbed like a child, and it was a total nightmare. No surprise, she's finally free from the fear of old age death. All those pent-up feelings burst out at once. He wiped her down, then stayed by her side when she refused to let go. He figured nothing happened, and he was probably right. He wakes her for breakfast and lends her spare clothes before they head out to shop. She woke, rubbed her eyes, called his name, then realized she was naked in bed. She dropped to her knees, apologizing and asking if he really did it. The guy panicked. The girl continued. How could a servant like her ever repay his kindness, even in 300 years? He told her to relax and forget about owing him anything. Toystra dismissed servant master talk. Someone just needed help. A nearby potion was pure luck. Her survival is his victory. He warned her to listen for both their sakes as she sobbed. Soon they ate breakfast. He thought she ate for strength, but she just loved food. He laughs, telling Annalise she'll never change as she apologizes, saying it was just delicious. The guy looked at her figure and thought he understood everything. She needed to eat more. He asked her if they'd buy equipment. They hit the Goltio trading house where she tried on a new outfit. He loved it, realizing she finally looked like a grown-up sister. Shopping done, they returned to the dungeon. The girl felt light, her magic improved, she was in top shape. She effortlessly crushed all enemies. She yells for him to duck, parrying every arrow with her blade. Annalise apologized, her magic too strong, activating long-range traps, then asked if he was hurt. She'd used rapiers before, so swatting arrows with a staff was easy. Toy questioned her identity. She even outclassed him in close combat. He thought her knowledge and skill came from age, but she was only 18. Was she a genius? He realized her hard work was real and turned dead serious. He decided he must try, but first, catch Annalise. They reach the boss room and he panics, but the elf says they'll handle her mithril sword if they stay cool. He'll handle it himself, but wants her help if it's dangerous. The first floor boss emerges, a level 6 giant rat. The rat rushes at him, and he notes it's surprisingly fast for its size. He thanks his armor and switches to defense to study its movements. He notices her attacks have a pattern since she's magical. He reads her 2 scratches, then full speed. Hero strikes back immediately. He celebrates his solo win while the elf praises his skill. First floor complete, loot drops, elite rat meat, large rat tail. He celebrates leveling up and unlocking a new class. The hero's buzzing. This dungeon crawl is a rush no game can match. He's challenging the boss again to test his new class. She says entering from the back avoids the boss. You only get 1 fight daily. He realizes he can use dungeon movement. He thinks if he returns to the boss's room, the boss might reappear. Everything went as planned, but the boss is back. He's thrilled you can quickly repeat boss battles for upgrades and loot. 10 dungeon runs and 0 potions left him completely exhausted. He's thrilled the tough fight brought incredible loot, XP, and boosted stats. She praises his elite skills, even though his rookie swordplay is still shaky. Uji realizes this is just knowledge from his past world. Loot sold, money in hand, the hero suggests celebrating his healing and grabbing dinner. Elf grabs his hand, calls him master. Annalie warns they've been followed since leaving the guild. The elf senses three following them. The young man panics, wondering if his old world caught up. She rules out the guild and guards, suspecting bandits are stalking them in silence. The elf offers to ditch them in the crowd, but the guy warns even a glimpse lets him instantly assess them. He grabs fried squid and gives it a detailed assessment. They spot the thieves. The elf says it's safe, but he decides to eat in his room anyway, glad he bought squid. He wonders why he's a target, assuming someone saw him open a rare chest. Remembering the bandages, he finally understood why. Shocked, Analyze demands he cut the gang leader in half on the road. Confused, Yuji swears it was an accident. Hiro recalls running into bandits with Goltio, joining guards to fight them. He thinks everyone died, but did anyone actually escape? She says they hold a grudge, blaming him for their failed attack. She explains the Sheldon gang controls most city criminals, fueling their empire through constant robberies. She says it's not personal revenge, but he damaged their organization's reputation, so they must retaliate. She figures the guild exposed him. He saved everyone, but now he's being hunted. The ruler is honest and strict, but crime is hard to control. The city attracts those seeking underground riches, so criminals easily hide. Eugene knows the guards are untrustworthy. They could easily be bribed. Hiro blames himself for his recklessness, always spoiling everything. She assures him he made the right call. Elf says saving Goltio meant she met him. She tells them not to worry. She declares however many thieves come, she'll send them back. Analyze reveals Theos are only dangerous in numbers. Their class is auto-assigned to criminals, making them unskilled thugs who hunt in packs. She says strength conquers fear, train your power for safety, plus they have bounties. She apologizes, telling him to eat the squid while it's still warm. She calls fried squid a town specialty. He tries it, loves it. If he's scared of every gaze, he'll never live a normal life in this world. He rubs his eyes awake as the elf greets him. She asks about his all-nighter. He says he slept in the morning. The girl decides everything's fine, no hotel change needed. He trusts Goltio won't betray them, but they spot a crowd at the dungeon entrance, wondering why it's so loud. Yuji gasps, realizing it looks like a celebration. She reveals yesterday's dungeon rebuild means monthly aisle changes, and tomorrow treasure hunters gather. Analyze spots the dealer, offering to inspect his wares. He agrees to evaluate the goods. He uncovers something interesting, then gives Analyze the earrings, insisting they'll suit her. The hero offers magic-boosting earrings and tells her to try them. She shyly agrees. Earring on, she blushes and asks how she looks. He says it suits her perfectly, and she vows to cherish them. Yuju tells himself it's just the owner's gift, nothing more. His panic creates an awkward atmosphere. Analyze asks to pick a gift for her master in return. 20 minutes later, she picks a necklace, but its level is too low for him to identify. He buys the harmless necklace, and she puts it on before she can even analyze it. He fumbles, asking Analyze, are we too noticeable? Two adventurers offer to team up, but he thinks they're just making out. Analyze counters the offer, asking if they want a fireball. He thinks Analyze is beautiful, her figure a dream. She claims her master is nicer. At the dungeon entrance, relieved no thieves, let's go. Inside, he's ready to scope out his new class. He class changes to a hero with a two-handed sword. Analyze is stunned by the hero class, explaining these legendary powers are incredibly rare. He sees his high stats and starting skills like auto-healing. He explains the skill buffs the whole party, leaving Analyze amazed. He unleashes a new skill, Cutting Punch. He's stunned it's a ranged move. The impact is delayed but looks sick. He says the first level's too crowded, so they'll go straight to level 2. Reaching the second level, he realizes it's a total mirror of the first. Uji's shocked to see a tree. Do they actually grow in dungeons? Monsters appear: Ashen Golem and Grey Rat. He warns Analyze, watch out. Golem's slow, but fast rats make combat tough. Uji loves his powerful new class. It saves potions, buffs weapons, and makes his heavy mithril sword feel weightless. He suggests heading straight to the level 2 boss. Analyze agrees. They enter the second floor boss room, facing a level 7 Ash Galen and a level 6 rat. Hero knows the boss has a wide attack range. He expects the rat boss to aim if he gets close. Avoiding a direct clash, he slashes the rat boss. The young man spots the slow golem, a perfect target, and strikes. A victory notification flashes. They cleared level 2 overnight and snatched the boss loot. He rests, then fights the boss again to level up. The crowd halts his boss rush, but Annalise is glad the underground effect lets them push deeper. She says the usual trip is long, taking hours to reach the second boss, and carrying gear slows progress. She says pros hire porters to camp in dungeons for days, leaving him stunned. Uji asks about the time. She grins, her built-in clock knows it's just before sunset. He calls it a day. The girl agrees. 2 levels in 1 day is a massive win. He steps outside, surprised it's evening. Annalise turns, concerned. Hiro spots creeps at the gate and skips the guild. She agrees. Yuji clenches his fist, cursing his forced return to life, glancing over his shoulder. He's confident his hero class can handle them, but he's still depressed, finding provoking hatred pointless. Elise calms him down, noting his analysis and her magic sense will keep them safe if they avoid danger. She boasts they're stronger, vowing to pin anyone who messes with her. He agrees. He worries with only 2 left. His strong guards are gone, leaving just the new toy, which isn't an option. Flush with cash, he wants to hire a fighter, and she knows a worker is easier to keep quiet. He hates this, but it's the only way. Thanks to Annalise, they can afford to hire a replacement. The young man decides they'll hit Goldhalla's shop tomorrow. Action shifts to Kernafoy's western slum. She asks when he'll finally bring the girl. He replies soon. They've upped surveillance. She's definitely at the Explorers Guild. The hooded figure crushes his hand, warning him to hurry or lose his other arm. Chardonna's leader orders to drag this toy to her. She promises she'll care for her. Hiro greets Galtiasen. Galtia replies he waited for them. Goltio asks for work again and spots Annalise. Man demands where he got it, then hesitates. Something happened. Galte froze in shock, certain he'd seen her before. He reveals it's Annalise and says much has happened. Shocked, Goltio asks if he knew all along. The hero makes Goltio promise secrecy, explaining client info is their reputation, a secret they must guard. He relaxes. Goltio's store won't leak info. Goltio notices the kid's massive growth over 2 weeks. His gut was right. Now it's time for business. Before they buy a new worker, she turns to Annalise, needing to tell her something. Yuji admits he was clueless during their last career talk. He reveals his secret to her. He's a reborn hero. He confirms she's right and she blushes, realizing a handsome hero saved her. She asks if the reborn hero is from another world. Hiro confirms his solo rebirth in Kernafoy. She gets his skills but misses the obvious. Annalise asks if he left his comrades. He replies he refused them, never wanting to be with them. Toy hides his hero identity, ditching the job to stay under the radar. He apologizes for being a coward, but she shuts him down, saying she's proud to stand by him. Goltio finds it strange the hero buys workers after hearing his story, but the hero insists the rules are clear. He lists conditions for workers: not a criminal, ready to fight with no profession, budget 400,000 grills. Goltio orders them to wait while he picks candidates, preferring workers who can choose their jobs from scratch. The man introduces candidates, saying their conditions mostly suit non-humans. Stunned by the elves, dwarves, and beastmen, he can't decide who to pick. The hero spots a strong draconian, a sickly elf, and a child. Seeing the goblin, he realizes they aren't monsters, but an intelligent race. Goltio reveals the goblin's parents sold him. Jobless at 20, he's now rethinking his decision. Annalise trusts his choice, but he hesitates. A draconian draws too much attention, yet another candidate intrigues him. He tells Goltio he'll take the goblin for 80,000 grills. Goltio's stunned. This goblin wants to be the king of hand-to-hand combat. That's bizarre. Hiro asks for a contract, says it's fine, but he's noticed something interesting. Goltio starts the prep, but wonders if an elf and a goblin can actually get along. He sees her calm. She explains her parents had no prejudice, and she's a half-elf. The hero signs the contract, but Annalise reveals the truth. The goblin is actually a girl. She's in shock. He shoots a goblin girl, not realizing. He thinks Goltio finds his taste weird, but the man just thanks him for the sale. He asks to sell materials here. Goltio says they buy rare items for more than the guild. Goltio warns him about city villains and says to call if trouble hits since merchants hear rumors fast. Hiro thanks him, says all's fine. He thinks Goltio knows everything and won't owe him more. They meet Rosarina. She eagerly says she'll do her best. Toy says gear up first, then hit the dungeon to level up. Rosarina's hyped to finally fight. He laughs as Annalise notes her enthusiasm. She wanted to fight barehanded. He hands her the mithril sword, taking a spare. Toy tells Analyze to hold a monster magically. She activates her mana arm. He orders Rosarina to destroy the rat in Shield Bays. She cheers, she just leveled up. He praises her, will swing fast today. Analyze and Rosarina nod. Winded, the hero praises Rosarina, but she's still full of strength. Her insane stamina shocks him. He sees the boss Q, offers rest. Rosarina asks what's next. Rosarina devours the fried squid, but Elise warns her, don't tell anyone about their master's unique skills. Rosarina lives for combat and food. Her speed shocks him, and Annalie admits she's the superior swordswoman. She always dreamed of fighting, constantly training in her head even while working. She dreams of becoming the combat king. Her constant training got her sold for not working. He promises Rosarina a level up, but a beast man interrupts, mocking their goblin. The beast man mocks Rosarina, claiming the goblin can't handle the boss. Annalie coldly suggests seeing who's playing games, while the beastman keeps threatening them. The beastman asks if they're in trouble, claiming they insulted his friend first. The guy grabs his ear. A massive bear beastman blocks them, apologizing for his friend going too far. Bear explains his friend's tribe has an ancient feud with goblins. He admits he's a novice, unaware who he's messing with. The man eyes the beastman as Rosarina apologizes, blaming her race for everything. He comforts Rosarina, assuring her it's not her fault, and says racists like that wolf beast deserve silencing by force. He's impressed by Rosarina's fighting talent, knowing she can handle herself without their support. Rosarina asks to fight barehanded. He agrees. The goblin brawls barehanded as she screams, feeling the rush of life. He says a fighter suits her. Alice hits level 10, meaning something's about to happen. His skill reveals that level 10 goblins evolve and get a massive power boost. Your class now automatically changes based on luck and talent. The hero shouts level up. A bright light envelops Rosarina. She screams. Light fades. Rosarina appears transformed, yelling, I've evolved. She's hyped to be a pro goblin fighter, flexing her new horns and Ballamaster class. Her transformation stuns Analyze and him. Rosarina confirms it's her, noticing she's taller. She calls Rosarina stunning while he eyes her tall, model-like figure. Rosarina admires her new moves. He panics, realizing he's now the weakest as she grows incredibly strong. He reveals Rosarina evolved into a goblin fighter and gained the powerful unique profession, hand-to-hand combat master of battle. Her class bans weapons, but her fists are lethal, and fighting spirit temporarily buffs her stats. Toy's agility lets her dodge attacks, making her the perfect dodger tank to draw in enemies and evade them. He feels blessed with Analyze and Rosarina, convinced he has a hidden luck skill and a goddess's protection. 2 weeks since his rebirth, winter is closing in. Rosarina claims she's fine. She fears a cold bath, so he orders hot water and a private room for the girls. Elise refuses, insisting she can't protect him from another room, so Rosarina offers to sleep on the floor. He points out there's only one bed. He remembers suggesting the floor, but they both called it unacceptable. He says they flawlessly clear the 3rd level. A web strikes. Analyze panics, asking if he's okay. Analyze, he understands these high-level monsters are spiders, and he hates it. He sees Rosarina ignores the web, but he's swamped by attacks from all sides. Enraged by the spider's silk, he's stunned when cotton thread falls out. Analyze explains trading dungeon cotton thread is common, and city policy keeps prices stable. The hero understands the industry built into the dungeon regulates monsters, calls it smart. Back at the hotel, he hands Analyze a rope to test his power. Smiling, he tells her to tie him up as tight as possible. She screams in panic it's not some hobby. He explains he just wanted to test escaping bandits or grabbing the item box. He slides the cobweb sword into the drawer, thrilled his experiment worked. He understands if the web doesn't fly fast enough, it's intercepted and won't reach the target. Toy realizes it's a real web, not cotton, and he can control it himself. Analyze says a normal box can't hold moving or shapeless objects. His box has a unique skill, she says, preserving temperature and freshness, but not living creatures. An idea comes to his mind, prepare and test her in a boss fight. Facing the massive spider boss, he orders Rosarina back to handle it solo. He declares every spider has one weakness and triggers his object box. Rosarina's shocked he uses magic. He explains it's Analysis magic, just pulled from the box. It's the ultimate cheat, stockpile spells early and attack with 0 risk. He realizes this world is all about the item box, even if the boss XP is trash. He's happy the new profession's conditions are met, unblocking it. Rosarina screams it's unfair, demanding a one-on-one. He promises her a rematch next time. They crush the third and fourth levels, leveling up. Leveling is a rush, and Rosarina lets him stay a seeker for the bonuses. Formic acid splashes. Elise warns it spoils gear, no harm done. He grumbles about the dirt but restocked his gear, waiting for the hotel's hot water. He sighs, wondering about the heroes in the castle, but he doesn't care. In the capital, 1,000 kilometers away, someone sneezes. Girl bathes in the royal palace when someone bursts in. Almeida mentions her late-night swims, but Seika claims she's just busy. Seika pledges no interference. Almeida calms her, says don't worry. Almeida offers to chat if Seika doesn't mind, calling her by name. Seika realizes the princess forgot only the hero, and agrees to talk if she's the right fit. She loves how magic and alchemy blend, finding science cool but impossible to imagine a world without magic. Almeida asks if Seika searched for someone draft day. Embarrassed, she replies she probably imagined it. Seika knows Fujimi's dodging Akabana, so she keeps the princess in the dark. Almeida thanks Seika, her potions aid soldiers and improved palace supply. The girl warns Seika not to overdo it, despite summoning her uninvited. Sayaka loves experimenting, admitting the princess's words finally calmed her. Girl asks if princess struggles with heroes. Almeida sighs, admitting it's a massive problem. Almeida complains about hero quarrels, mistreated servants, robberies, wasted supplies, and daily investor complaints. She blames the lack of results. Heroes are stuck at level 3 and won't cooperate. Almeida apologizes for complaining, but Seika smiles and says it's fine. She says the Atraces hero arrives soon and hopes his team follows. Psycho strongly says production professions will provide heroes what they need. She's already making useful items. The heroine hands the princess aromatic oil she and the pharmacist crafted for her bath. Almeida finds the scent source. She thanks Eika, their talk helped her. Seika apologizes, calling her name awkward and asking for something simpler. Almeida smiles, calls her Sika. She screams embarrassed. Embarrassed, Seika dives underwater and yells for help, claiming she's completely talked the princess. The one on the roof sneezes. Rosarina notices people downstairs saying there are many enemies. Bandits hunt him, swearing he's vanished again. Running into bandits near the hotel, he realizes he dropped his guard. He could easily win, but more enemies would follow. He avoids the fight, remembering how Rosarina covered for him. Annalise apologizes for the oversight, but he reassures her it's not her fault since bandits are swarming the city. Rosarina asks what happened. He frets the hotel will get into trouble because of him if this keeps up. She suggests changing hotels often, their month's ending and money's good. Annalie agrees it's fair but hates losing the delicious food, giving an awkward smile. He's lost on what to do. Dengian's fine but bandits won't quit. Rosarina has a plan, smash the bandits to splinters so her master stops hiding. Panicked, he rejects her idea. 3 against the gang is suicide, the city master would have crushed them already. Hero thinks cleanup stalls because bandits have informants among officials. Toy eyes his profession card, certain it holds the key. Hero gets a great bandit idea. He'll use a new profession skill. Tomorrow he tests his class in the dungeon, but first, he's gotta grind his levels and skills. Annalie wants to leave early. He wakes, needing gear. She asks about his new job. He says its name is Gloomy and invites them to see. He triggers the class change, transforming instantly into an assassin. The girls are stunned by his class, but he explains that killing the boss with an item triggered a secret condition. He gauges the assassin's power. Armed with stealth and divine speed, Annalise only heard rumors of this class. She assumes it's a criminal job, a thief's next stage, a shadow world secret with no records. Rosarina decides to wipe out the bandits, then panics and denies he ever meant it. He's not interested in the profession's combat power, just stealth. He asks them to turn around briefly. They turn to find him gone. Panicking, they shout his name, but he suddenly appears right behind them. Toy explains stealth makes you invisible by suppressing presence, but it fails if you're watched. Annalise realizes she can move in this state, ideal for secret penetration. They suspect he'll use the skill in the sauna, calling it indecent. He screams it's a crime and refuses to quit, but Annalise says she was just joking. Annalie thinks he'll raid the bandit lair to kill their leader, but he says he's not that reckless. Hero argues revenge solves nothing. He can't decide for everyone. He's breaking into the admin building. His analysis skill will expose the bandits' allies. Show proof and the landowner will act. Toy knows exposing the spies will break the bandits. He devotes a day leveling his assassin, realizing the class is damn strong. Hitting vulnerable spots is lethal, dealing guaranteed triple crit damage on the first stealth strike. No weapon restrictions, even two-handed weapons are fine, basic stats are high, and divine speed skill boosts agility. Attacking breaks stealth, making group fights tough, but Rosarina's team handles it easily. Toy realizes this is the ultimate solo class. He knows this is a class for assassins. Discovery would ruin him, so he keeps it hidden. He maxed the assassin to level 10, declaring all good. The next day he snuck into administration, never expecting a stealth game in another world. He must hide his face, knowing his divine speed ensures a quick escape. She's stunned officials are teaming with bandits, taking bribes, and buying total power with personal cards. At level 10, he unlocked passing through walls and erasing footprints. He believes this profession is outlawed. He finds the treasury files. It's not theft, it's a transfer. These cards will expose every spy. The admin will bury the truth, deliver this straight to the ruler. At Neafi Castle, he sees the military, true professionals, not officials. He expected weak bandits, but these guards are elite. Smart commanders mean perfect discipline. He must find the Lord now. Toys isn't in the Lord's office. He figures the Lord's in his chambers. He spots the Lord, skips the food, and orders only wine. Maid tells Lord to rest. Maid tells Lord to rest. An inscription appears. Duke Arcane Gardland rules Neafi. The hero knows this is the Lord. He radiates mature charisma. He sees the Lord's profession as Duke. It's no mere title. He's a real Duke. Toy deems this the elite aristocratic profession. He's terrified they're stronger, their numbers off the charts. Panicking, he realizes he's in deep trouble, so he quickly ditches the evidence and flees. Stealth is active, but the hero knows he's been spotted. Terrified, she wonders who he is. Panic nearly makes him blow his cover. Recalls analysis, Duke's flawless, but he can't trust him. He'd cover family scandals. The Duke spots a folder on the sofa and swears it wasn't there before. He checks the documents, finding embezzlement in accounting and a list of bandit ties. Amused, he summons Zajian and Balkan at once. Duke faces the void, sensing him. He demands his name, impressed by his speed and bravery. The bandit wonders, is it an escaped official or a relentless seeker? He knows he delivered everything personally for immediate action. The hero's tired of the admin's rot. They'll figure it out tomorrow. He forgives their break-in at the castle. He won't spare you next time. He orders him back tomorrow night. Exiting the castle, he sighs in relief. That was hell, and he needs to find the others fast. Analyze and Rosarina shout his name. He smiles. The Duke acts immediately. Shocked, Analyze asks if he spoke to the Lord himself. Even with stealth active, Toy felt exposed, like he'd been seen through. Analyze is just relieved he's safe. Infiltrating the castle, they quickly located the bandits' lair, Rosarina reports. She marks 3 spots on the slum map, feeling underground movement and suspecting the leaders hiding there. He knows bandit raids and their escape routes are a massive headache. Hero claims he's used to penetrations, so he'll look again. Shocked, Analyze asks if he's going right now. He plans the morning purge, keeping bandits clueless, and the girls join him. She claims going solo is easier, but Analyze won't leave him in danger while Rosarina's itching to bash some bandits. He orders them to stay close. If he's not back in an hour, they move in to rescue him. She fears he'll die within the hour. He assures her he can slip away anytime. She reluctantly agrees but warns, not back in an hour, she's busting in. He'll be back. He's found the Sharding gang's main base, and now he's hunting for the leader or their hidden treasure. He decides if he finds something worthwhile, he'll give it to the Duke, then immediately bolt. They're just scumbags with 0 thieving skills, though some hold deadly jobs. The hero finds Shardina, the Blood Queen, level 18. She's stunned she named the gang after her. He questions the Blood Queen's job. She demands the brat, but they've spotted him lurking in the eastern quarter. She screams at her crew to rob every hotel if they can't find him. Fearing innocents will get caught, he bails to hunt treasure. The toy hits a secret vault, and he's stunned by the piles of jewelry, magic relics, and black gold. He fights temptation, fearing taking anything would brand him a hero thief. Rosarina snaps and checks the escape route, spotting a staircase to a dungeon. Horror grips him through the bars. He remembers trading is forbidden here. The girls notice him lingering. Rosarina asks if it's time to go, but suddenly he's right behind them. They ask if he's okay. He says he's fine, time to go home, but barely contains his rage. He faces Analyze and Rosarina. He says stop hiding, even if the Lord does nothing. He vows to crush the gang with his own hands. Soldiers and bandits clash. A voice asks what's happening. The bandit shouts, "You won't get in easily." Balkan rushes in. Terrified bandits can't stop him, even with their numbers. Furious, Shardana screams for her people to stall him. She knows he's behind this and glares up at him on the roof. 8 hours too late, the office is closed and they can't apply. Duke Gardland, as promised, reconciled. 8 arrested for embezzlement and bandit ties. Duke reviews documents confirming the intel. The chief apologizes again, shocked by the criminals lurking in his own ranks. The Duke tells them not to take the blame, admitting he turned a blind eye to powerful people for too long. The man praises Balkan's work, and the Knightly Order's leader accepts in silence. Balkan scoffs, calling it a disgrace for public servants to stoop to banditry. The Duke orders Balkan to crush the gang and Zyjan to stop any rumors from leaving the castle. Duke asks what happened. Balkan says he felt watched. Tui's horrified. Balkan sensed him from miles away. Balkan's no man, he's a monster, a guardian knight level 40+, scarier than the Duke. Elise warns him Balkan is the country's strongest. He once sliced through a fortress wall. If they meet him, run and don't look back. Inside the chambers, the Duke recognizes him, noting the guest returned early instead of waiting for nightfall. Balkan rages at the intruder breaching the castle twice. He'll stop him. The man is in attack range. Panic hits, he's finished. The Duke stops Balkan, saying this man's his guest. If he wanted harm, he'd already do it. He asks if he's here to see for himself, feeling underestimated after providing evidence and punishing the culprits. The Duke replies he already showed goodwill, then asks if he brought a present. He slams the folder down, exposing the bandits' base, stolen loot, and the leader's location. Sigun recoils in horror. Illegal people. The Duke finally knows why everyone's vanishing. He insists if the intel's solid, they must storm. Balkan warns it's a trap. Only an insider would know this. Jijun fears bandits will attack the castle. The Duke agrees acting before confirmed info is risky, asking Balkan's opinion. Balkan isn't intimidated by this man. The Duke doubts one squad can stop 300 men, sending a small unit to keep the castle safe. Balkan confidently says he'll handle them himself. The old man plans to solo everyone, herding bandits from flanks to center. Their plan shocks him. He questions the workers' capture and the leader's escape, realizing they're baiting him with a plan they know he can hear. He curses the Duke's smirk. They expect him to figure it out. Toy knows he was meant to hear the plan. Exposed and furious, the Duke puts on the face of a kind-hearted seeker. Toy decides he'll climb there anyway. If night helps, good luck. He tells Analyze and Rasarina everything is going according to plan. Bandits scream in panic as knights attack. At the base, bandits rush into battle, shouting under attack. Knights close in from both sides. Enraged, she screams for answers as her informant stays silent. The informant blames a closed office, but she snaps at him for the delay. Balkan appears. Bandits recognize him in horror. The Balkan sword emerged. A bandit urges them not to retreat, shouting killing Balkan brings glory. He notes stronger resistance south. Seeing the enemy's inhuman strength, the knight orders a retreat. The huge bandit smashes the knight's defense. She triggers moral boost, supercharging her body for 10 seconds. She busts through the wall, sure 10 seconds is enough. As the others wonder where he went, the knight shouts the gate is open and leads the charge. He praises Rasarina from the roof for holding back her urge to battle, calling it worthy of respect. He suggests pinning the bandits to retreat north, but it won't be easy. He suggests blocking the passage, isolating the north. Analyze gladly takes this case. Fire magic is banned in the city, so she unleashes a Max Bauer mana arm strike. Her mana strike obliterates the passage. Balkan feels the earthquake, realizing the intruder has capable comrades. Sardine learns the northern underground passage is destroyed. Furious, the south also broke and they can't cope. She feels played and senses betrayal, but she refuses to back down. Shadna warned her subordinate, leak info, face problems, then eliminate all dungeon prisoners. The henchman asks where she's headed, but Shardna ignores him and orders them to follow. The subordinate slammed the girl onto the table, knife in hand, declaring their boss allowed total destruction. The assassin slit the bandit's throat from behind, dropping the body. He told the prisoner knights were coming, then resisted the urge to pat their head. As Shardna led her men through a secret passage, they struggled with a heavy load, questioning her lack of help until she snapped, ordering them to be quiet and follow. They hit the stairs, the path outside. Shardna turned to rush her crew, but they were gone. She had no idea where they vanished. Her subjugation skill trapped her minions, but she sensed another presence. Shardna mocked her enemy's trap and unleashed her unmasking skill. The girl shouted, "Don't underestimate the great Shardna," and threw a weapon at Toy. The hero blocked with his sword, narrowly escaping the poisoned blade thanks to his quick gear. Shardna fled him, Toy chased, refusing to lose her, he blasted through the wall. The assassin and the barter leader hit the roof. Gasping for air, she asked if he was Toy. Shardna claimed he shattered years of her work, forcing her to rebuild the gang. Wait, let's ensure the girl is clear. Toy sent her to the mines to pay for her sins, mocking that she'd likely die on the way. Assassin and gang head charged, trading blows, but the girl missed. Sardine fell from the roof onto barrels. Trading blows implies both swung, which is good. The girl is the assassin and the night department head approached. She demanded his name, but he only asked if she was the same Sardine. Toy thought Shardna was lonely, despite being surrounded by subordinates. The hero had people he could rely on and trust. Rosarina and Analyze called their master, who smiled. Balkan heard the bases were clear and the kids were safe, but he warned his knights to stay sharp until the evacuation finished. The knight commander admitted Mellard was right, finding him interesting. This was 30 days after the hero's rebirth. A week after Shardna's gang fell, the city is safe. No longer hunted, the team ditched the hotel for a new base, and she finally got her dream bath. Rosalina and Analyze dive into his tub, catching him off guard. They tell him not to be shy while the witch offers a back rub. Days ago, heroes hit Goltio Trading House, asking the dealer for a rental house with a bathroom. He had a great option. The guys found a place, but Toy saw the house and asked if it was too huge. The hero called the 3-story house and garden a palace for his team. Goltio agreed. He explained it was a nobleman's old country house with a cellar and wine cellar. Bandit raids drove the nobles away, leaving their mansions for dirt cheap, but this place needs a serious deep clean. Toy wanted to give up the huge mansion and servants, citing budget, but Goltau disagreed. He argued the team would hit the middle floors in a month, making a solid base a smart investment. Toy agreed. For daily dungeon divers, a home is vital, and a bath sounded tempting. Monthly costs hit 80 grills, but his savings had him covered. Now he'd hunt more bosses to level up and stack cash. Toy told Goltio he'd buy a house. Goltio thanked him, shaking his hand, promising immediate preparations and asking to pick services. Toy saw Goltio as an excellent merchant. Analyze called his move bold, and Rosalina was hyped to train in the forest. Next day, the boys met their servants. Head butler Mondark handled any job, his wife Merlis managed cleaning and kitchen, and their son Jewel oversaw garden and renovations. The hero introduced himself, and Goltio claimed 3 servants were plenty, vouching for their work. Toy introduced Analyze and Rosaline, demanding equal respect. Moglark bowed, telling them to drop formalities. The hero learned this family once served foreign nobles. They moved here for a cheap price, and Toy never expected his own butler. He told them to call him anytime. Mondark asked about Toy and Analyze's eating habits. She blushed, clarifying their relationship was misunderstood. Elise tried explaining she was a servant, but the girl snapped at her to never say that again. Hero's not picky, just wants quantity over quality. Toy wanted comrades called by first names. Rosalina, cradling confused Analyze, admits she eats a lot. Mondark understood. The servants were perfect, with elite service and cooking. Seeing extra space, Toy invited Mondark's family to move in. The 3 martial artists kept their home safe, even when away. Their 3rd-floor rooms were Toy's team's personal space. He gave the girls separate rooms, but they moved in with him anyway. Even with the artifact, using the kitchen was a struggle, since magic stones made utilities cost a fortune. On the Toyside balcony, Analyze approached him, asking what was wrong. Still adjusting to the massive mansion, the hero admitted his old home was tiny. She asked if he'd return to his world, given a chance. Toy replied he belongs here now, adding he wouldn't live without Analyze. Rosarina hugged her friends, shouting she was back. Toy declared they'd rested enough. Tomorrow, they'd hit the dungeon's 5th floor. Seagun entered the Duke's office, announcing a recent gang ties case punishing 4 trading houses and 8 noble families. Arcane stripped the trading houses' rights and seized their property. Zigan asked about the nobles, and the Duke ordered them all destroyed as a lesson for the future. Arcane publicized their crime, ordering entire families executed, heads, wives, children, adult sons, but then sent women and children to the temple. The Duke ordered every relative to show their IDs with 0 exceptions, and Rikishin nodded. Arcane knew objections to the harshness were inevitable, but city safety was his priority, and Zagian promised to deliver. Duke asked about the assistant. He replied Intel was still investigating, but found a suitable candidate in the city. Zaijin says Toy appeared a month ago, but his identity is a total mystery. Bandits claim he's hunting for a specific girl. Saijan reveals he's a level 1 traveler who cleared dungeons with an old elf and a goblin, but the Duke knows he's no rookie. Balkan's report of strong magicians and fighters meant Arcane knew toys, comrades had powerful professions. Jijun says the guy hides his identity in class, marking him as a likely assassin or criminal. Arcane knew they couldn't gauge his power, and crossing him meant a knife in the back. The Duke found it strange the intruder killed the leader, then let knights destroy the gang instead of capturing them, wondering his true motive. That behavior insulted Cranafi's ruler. He ordered Zagent, watch closely until we know Toy's true intentions. They hit Baldark's 5th floor, finding a massive area packed with cow monsters. Analyze explains May's cows attack straight, making them easy to beat. Their delicious meat, valuable skin, and horns lure mid-level seekers to the popular 5th floor. The bull charged, but Rosalina caught its horns and flipped the beast onto its back. Toy was shocked Rosalina hit harder than a cow, explaining that timing is key as premium beef dropped from the animal. Analyze torched the cow, using the dungeon's space to unleash her magic. The smell of fried meat instantly made her hungry. Which warned gentleman of a bull charging from behind. Toy jumped, dodging the blow. Bull ran past, slamming a rock. Impact tore the horn out. The cow dropped a rock, revealing a secret chest. Toyna knew leading the beast here would pay off. He told Analyze to check the chest, confident the assassin could handle any trap. Analyze found no lock, no trap signs, yet the witch felt uneasy. She ordered them back to open the chest with Manoruka. The boys hid behind a rock as a massive magic hand pried it open. Analyze approached the empty chest. Toy tried to stop her, but black tentacles burst out and snatched her. The guy sliced the tentacles, freeing the witch. Rosalina fled, slamming the trunk shut with her foot. The impact hurt the goblin's leg. Toy tried to cleave the chest, but Mithril failed. The monster's immense defense and vitality stopped him. Hero and Goblin traded blows, but the enemy's chest stayed eerily calm. Annalie stepped in to finish it alone. Warning comrades to clear out, she fired a fire arrow, nailing the monster. His chest burned. The hero realized magic and mouth attacks worked. He praised the witch, who admitted she'd never seen such a beast. Defeating the chest, Rosalina saw something fall out. Annalise grabbed the book, calling it a grim war, a profession-changing item. Toy didn't know books could change your class, but a quick check revealed it was worth a fortune. He said they'd sell it for a fortune, but the witch realized it'd cost more in dungeon-free regions. Dungeon seekers hunted magic books. They were worth a massive fortune. Toy remembered Annalisa told him she was a swordsman. He asked if she became a magician from the magic book. Dunya said she accidentally found the book at her journey's start. Their rule was finders keepers. She almost sold the book, but instead ditched her sword to become a magician. She knew magic was worth it. Dungeons needed many skills, and she was respected as a soldier and craftsman. He asked if magic could be learned without memorizing. Analyze explained magic is a skill only mages can use, but becoming one is incredibly hard. She heard those with power must train at special schools for 10 years. Only nobles or the rich become magicians, she said, so this ordinary girl found her chance in the dungeon. Toy finally had a shot at becoming a magician and was determined to take it. He knew only he could change his class. Since Analyze was already a mage and Rosalina had unique powers, he had to move fast. Hero believed 2 mages and 1 melee fighter would perfectly balance their group. Toy wouldn't rush to change his class yet, since Analyze was already a sorceress. While he ponders the magic book, Rosalina slays the level 5 labyrinth bull. Heroes exited the dungeon, selling their 5th level materials for a good price. Analyze explained this is because it takes 4 or 5 days to explore the 5th Varley. Toy loved his daily bathroom breaks, glad they finally rented the house. The hero told comrades to head to level 6. He asked Analyze how many floors she cleared. She reached the Bald Art Dungeon's 5th floor, changed classes, and moved to the capital before suddenly stopping. Toy asked what happened. Girl said it was fine, but the 6th floor spawned monsters resisting normal attacks, plus new flying and special types, spiking difficulty. These monsters force swordsmen and spearmen to switch jobs or learn elite skills, because everyone gets stuck at level 5. Toy realized only experienced people passed level 6. He hoped they'd manage, and they backed him, promising success. The hero lay between the sleeping girls, lost in thought. Analyze was cursed since coming to the capital. Curious, he wouldn't force her to speak. Toy avoided the enemy capital, desperate to erase their faces from his memory. He couldn't deny needing people. Remembering Sayaka, he realized he'd never see his classmates again. They hit Baldarg's 6th floor. Toy saw it was spacious with high ceilings. He wondered what awaited them. Something zoomed toward them, a level 18 stone gargoyle, and Rosalina kicked its wing. She landed, declaring the monster rock solid. Toy knew fighting was tough. Their flying enemy resisted physical attacks, making his assassin's skills useless. Toy shifts into a hero with a giant blade and tells Rosalina to unleash her fighting spirit. He hits the gargoyle with a bastard slash while Rosalina lands a fiery punch, shattering the stone monsters. Noticing successful special attacks, Annalie added magic worked on monsters too. The hero rallies the team, but gargoyles instantly swarm them. Rosalina screams they're outnumbered, and Toy realizes low mana and cooldowns make fighting impossible. Hero ordered a retreat to the entrance to recover. Leaving the battlefield, Toy sighed heavily, admitting fighting many enemies was hard. He thought Annalise's magic was enough, but used the magic book anyway, and the witch approved. The girl wished to be a magician like him, and he agreed when she asked if he liked the idea. Toy opened the book, magic symbols burst out, invading his mind. He saw the conditions but changed his class anyway, earning a master's degree and shocking Elise. Toy sensed the magister was more than a magician. She'd heard sorcerers could lose their status, but this was her first time facing a true master. The young man checked the info, but the quote was a long shot. Analyze confirmed it. Now Toy had to see if his new class could slay gargoyles. He realized Magister enhances magic. He enhanced Rosalind's fire magic. Toy gave allies ability or attribute bonuses, making him a buffer. The hero boosts Rosalina's speed, while Toy stacks on multiple power-ups. Rosalina destroyed gargoyles with a fiery kick. The hero saw the girl could handle it alone. He expected a different magic class, but Magister was the perfect way to stand out from Annalise. He was out of fight, everything depended on his allies. 3 in the dungeon, that'd be tough. The hero found a system life buff and tested it. He dropped the stone, and a small golem instantly sprouted. Toy buffed Iwacha and ordered the gallant to strike, but his low level made him crumble. He used the life buff as a decoy, while Rosalina suggested practicing later. Newly boosted, the team stormed the dungeon, battling monsters. Post-fight, Toy declared a level up. He called it a day. Level 5 yielded great materials they'd use back home. Toy scored a rare stone turning point. It's blunt, but one hit turns enemies to stone. The hero pictured using the blade with an assassin. Analyze thrilled, the point turned to stone. The guys cashed in their dungeon loot. The girl was stunned by the F-rank stones, remembering their 4th level haul from last time. Girl asks if they hit the 6th floor. Toy awkwardly admits an experienced friend accidentally took them there. The clerk warned them to stay alert since the 3 beauties were famous. He loved the news, but once a guy started flirting, he dragged them away. They dodged everyone in the dungeon, but rumors still spread. Analyze blamed their constant material turn-ins. Toy had extra money today so they could go out for drinks. He'd already warned the servants they'd eat out. The girls agreed. Guys hit the Sinnoh Tavern ordering stewed chicken. Mugs clinked, they thanked each other. A man approached, asking for their attention. A stranger caught Toei off guard, claiming to be Duke Holdren's servant. He was scouting for talented seekers and immediately focused on those who had proven their worth. He heard them wonder about recruiting him. He didn't get how they knew his name, assuming they'd checked guild records, knowing rising levels always triggered army calls. The servant invited him to government talks. Toy found it strange they turned to him, as records showed Rosalina and Annalise were above his level. The hero apologized, claiming a mistake. He didn't think a traveler belonged in court, so the servant offered him girls instead. Furious, he refused to sell for any price, but the man apologized and said the bill was already paid. Toy refused the coins, leaving them on the table. He told the girls they'd dine elsewhere, adding they'd meet at his house soon. The hero realized the man was just stalling. Outside the tavern, Balkan waited, vowing Toy wouldn't escape. Balkan announced Duke Garland summoned him. He added the young man would go with him to the palace. The knight commander warned him, refuse and it's rebellion, and he'll lose his head. Toy never expected Balkan, confused how he was found. Feigning ignorance, he asked why a lord needed a simple traveler like him. Balkan warned, no excuses, he knew the reason. Toy couldn't pretend ignorance, now how would he escape? Toy knew Balkan's range was massive. One wrong move meant certain death. He could escape with divine speed, but he wouldn't leave the girls behind. Risarina squared up, demanding they move so her friends could eat. The knight warned the captain. The goblin was the knight. Toy yells Rosarin can't fight Balkan, who mocks her hesitation and asks why she won't attack. The goblin trembled, unable to attack. Balkan would slice her in half with a counter. Toy knew Rosarina couldn't beat an enemy triple her level, and though he tried to endure, Annalise distracted him. She'd hold Balkan back with all her power, telling them to break through and escape the city without stopping. The elf warned if taken now the owner faces prison or execution. The Lord views him as a robber-level threat. Analyze says the Duke wants Toy dead before the master snaps. That's his logic. The magician ordered Rosarina to guard the master. Toy knew she'd sacrifice her life for him, and Balkan would be merciless at the Duke's command. No longer running, he smiled, declaring he'd meet the Lord himself. He added it was a misunderstanding, so they should just talk. He asked if he was needed alone, and Balkan nodded. Analyze tried to stop him, but Toya promised he'd be fine and told her to wait at home. If he ran late, the girls would have. They checked Toysfell entering the mansion. The hero planned to use skills to escape danger, but if branded a criminal, the girls would also be accused. He didn't get Duke Garland's plan. Before the Lord's office, Toy admitted his poor etiquette, but Balkan said his lordship didn't care. Arcane Garland introduced himself in the office, mocking the boy's thin arms and doubting he could even beat a sardine. The young man didn't know why he was summoned. The man approached the hero. His assistant warned the Duke, careful with the toy. Arcane said he commanded Garland like his own limbs. Even the royal house couldn't. Toy insisted he didn't know, terrified he'd be stabbed. The Lord promised to get to the point. Garland rewarded the boy, admitting the bandits only fell because of him. Toy leaked the corruption and joined the final assault. The Duke warned denying the outsider forgiveness after all their prep would confuse the knights, adding the young man's wishes don't matter, he must accept the award. The hero felt his efforts finally paying off as Floor told him to name his price to Count Segan. Toy assumed the Lord dropped formalities and was punctual, so he figured they should just finish him off. The hero rejected the reward, ordering Garland to pay the victims and honor the brave knights. Sighing, the Duke said it was done long ago. He recalled the sardine treasure trove and asked if the boy knew. The man offered the cash, but Toy refused, insisting seekers earn their own keep in the dungeons. Balkan laughed at the kid's bold talk, so Garland changed the reward. The man named the toy seeker an honorary baron. The hero couldn't believe he was now a noble. Arcane told the count to prepare papers and teach the impudent youth honor. Segun agreed, and Toy must accept his refusal of money. Rosarina and Analyze met the trembling owner near the mansion. The elf asked if he was okay. He nodded. The goblin asked what happened, as the magician noticed he was pale and tired. Rosarina rushed Toy to the bathroom and tossed him into the water. He later woke up resting on Analyze's lap. He apologized to his comrades. Toy claimed his brain overheated, insisting he was fine. The magician feared he'd never return. A girl interrupts, asking what happened at the Duke's. The gentleman reveals he's now a nobleman. Toy admitted he was still finding himself. Rosarina praised his new title, leaving the rest speechless. In the Lord's office, Sijin told the young man to learn what an honorary baron is. He gave him papers, saying to master the basics now and study details at home. Zajan explained the guy's a baron, but his non-hereditary title lasts one lifetime. He must appear for the ducal house during disasters like war, calamity, or major monster hunts and Toy. The boy asked to keep exploring. Zajan agreed, but warned him to behave and protect the ducal house's honor. Toy exhaled, needing to return to the dungeons. The count warned that fighting seekers or dying was forbidden, so Toy promised to be careful. Sijin announced they'd buy the young man's rented estate, turn it into housing, and give it to the baron. Toy was shocked his rental apartment would become his. The count opened the case, offering 12 million grills a year plus 3 million for 2 months. Segun warned the boy not to be impressed, reminding him these were just lifting platforms for servants. He demanded 1 knight and 5 soldiers for an honorable defense. The count insisted on reliable men, and Segun told Toy to pick a surname and coat of arms. Hiro told servants and girls he was overwhelmed. He asked Mondalka to teach him noble etiquette, and Mondalka promised his help. Toy needed a knight and 5 soldiers fast. Mondok's servants weren't fit, and Annalise and Rosarina's status disqualified them from joining. Mondok told Toy he knew a local knight expert and asked to call him. Toy agreed. The man called the tailor. As the hero was measured, Mondok announced the count summoned him to the palace for Segun to approve his surname and coat of arms once the baron was ready. Mondok was a huge help. Noticing his long hair, Toy realized he'd been in this world for almost 2 months. Costume ready, the gentleman asked Ainlissa. She loved it. Mondak called the owner elegant. She then registered her name and coat of arms with the count. Toy becomes Baron of Futsiko, then arrives at the Duke's mansion, bowing to the Lord. The hero inherited his ancestor's surname, his coat of arms bearing a wisteria flower. He knew few used plants for crests. Garland's Duke sported dragons. Arcane voiced high hopes, but Toy hated the disrespect. The hero tried to leave, but Balkan insisted on coming along. Toy felt dread. Soon they reached the training field. The young man lay exhausted as Balkan demanded he rise. Soldiers pass Toy in Balkan training. A man floors the hero, but the Baron orders him back up. Toy asked how long. Balkan said they'd train until he stopped her. Toy felt mocked. The man declared this month for intense night training, joining them tomorrow. Hero protested he never enlisted, he had his own life. Balkan ordered immediate training, declaring that no one follows a coward hiding in the shadows. The knight captain said if you're sure you don't need training, hit him once to prove it. Sighing, the hero grabbed a broadsword. Toy took a stance, switching to a two-handed class to avoid a month of night training. Toy asked about holding back skills, yet used a two-handed sword, body strengthening and foresight, so the man told him to fight seriously. The Baron felt the shift. He wondered how she'd move with that two-handed sword. Hero launched a direct onslaught, attacking the Baron from all sides. The Baron felt two were fighting him, not one. The knights gaped as he swung the massive sword, Toy already overwhelming their captain. Balkan saw Toy's good technique and quick reflexes, but his inexperience showed, so he struck Toy's sword, disarming him. The hero leapt midair, slamming the Baron with a divine speed shadow palm combo. The Baron grabbed and slammed him down, claiming his aim was perfect, but the strike was easily parried. Toy marveled Balkan repelled the dead zone attack without skills. He warned the hero's abilities are strong, but don't rely on good combat situations, you can be hooked. Baron declared flair and experience win battles, reminding Toy must train. Hero agreed. The squad rushed the Baron, praising his insane skills. Even elite knights couldn't match the captain, making Toy feel awkward. Hero came home, announced he'd train with knights for a month, but Analyze grumbled why he returned in rags from every palace visit. Toy collapsed on the bed, sobbing. He wished he could return to the dungeons and report the commissioner's abuse as Analyze stroked his head. Hero knew relying on skills was dangerous, so he tried it. Dueling others would be useful. The butler approached to clarify the schedule. Toy remembered tomorrow's meeting with a night stranger and asked who he was. Mondarch reveals tomorrow's guest, his former master's squad commander. His strength is proven and he's peculiar. Hyped for the interview, he downed a potion to look sharp with Annalie's help. She tended her wounds. The girl assured him it'd be fine, reminding him the Lord chose the night. Annalise believed staying herself would make everything fine. Next day, the hero met the suited guest and saw his massive size. Ganderbond welcomed him, but I realized I'd seen this bear beast before. The hero spots the beastman leader, harassing Rosaline at the boss door. Gondorban recognized Toy from the dungeon and asked if he was Baron Feutical. The boy confirmed it. Hero knew the beastman was a level 22 heavyweight knight, a veteran squad leader. Gondorban apologized for his dungeon rudeness, claiming he didn't know Toy was a baron. Toy replied he'd only just earned the title. Guy asked about the wolf beastman. Bear said he badly wounded his right hand on the 5th floor boss, quit, and moved to the countryside. Guy stubbornly walked forward, ignoring his commander. Toa asks if he fears for his reputation, but Gunderban refuses to hide, failing his ward. The hero valued Gander Van's honesty and responsibility. Toy asked his plan for the batch if he served the Baron. The bear urged consultation for his people. The Gandharban squad waited on the street for their commander, having only reached floor 6. Spearman Lin suggested changing their name if the captain left them. Swordsman Bars argued supporting the commander's happiness. Solidia hoped Gondorban would tell the Baron. Jajak advised her to ready a stance for the Baron and captain. She said they only trust the commander. I watched from the shadows as he praised the squad's discipline and trust in Ganderban, though he knew the young warriors still had room to grow. The hero entered the mansion and ordered the heavy knight to summon his squad, putting 1 knight and 4 soldiers under Baron Futsicle's command. Lin saw Toy and warmly patted his head. Bars was shocked the prisoner was a baron, while Jajak marveled at the hero's young title. Celilia noticed the massive height gap between Ganderban and Toy. The bear yelled at the squad not to disrespect the baron, then questioned the young man who quickly approved them without seeing their skills. Toy agreed. He knew instant analysis didn't always yield the best solutions. The guy asked if everyone had their gear, they'd hit the boss now. The hero rushed his squad to the dungeon doors. The stunned beastman panicked, but Darban instantly recognized the movement skill. Toy praised the man's ability mastery. The bear said he once saw it used by a frontline team. The Baron forced the squad to sign NDAs to keep his skills secret. 2 maze bulls blocked the boss way. Toy wondered if they could defeat both beasts at once. The squad prepared to attack. Ganderbond ordered the usual pattern. 2 bulls charged the bear. He used agrifixation, then activated his shield as they neared. Their horns slammed into it. Leopard and Lin flanked the bulls as spearmen unleashed triple spear, and swordsmen struck with storm sword. Salidia and Jajak joined the fight, unleashing a slash and jumping spear. The animals' bodies burned. Toy marveled at the smooth, precise connection, knowing this was his best move, taking on a ready-made team immediately. Their biggest advantage was teamwork from their first fight. Toy swapped classes and ordered the Gandharbin squad to test their power. Rosalina fought bulls, analyzed slaughtered goblins, and the Baron crushed giant insects. Gandharbin saw the trio was too powerful, they didn't even need guards. Lin questioned Toy's transformation. Bars recognized the rumored trio. Jujak pondered. The heroes exited the dungeon. Toy's team had a knight and 4 soldiers, but he wanted one more recruit. Rosarina was a willing debtor who'd be free once her debt was cleared. After seeing her crush bandits, Toy wanted Analyze free too, so he approached Zaijin. Toy knew his noble status demanded his best, then remembered tomorrow's brutal training with his instructor, and Gandarban was coming along. Back at the castle, the annoyed princess summons the irritable Akaba. Bermuda couldn't understand how Akaba left a wounded comrade to die in a dungeon, asking how he could call himself a hero. Akaba silenced her, dismissing her fuss over a mere assistant, then declared his survival was all that mattered, daring her to object. Sayaka asked if Niba died. The princess remembered he was a porter, an otherworlder class. She learned he was overworked and constantly beaten by the 3 heroes. The couple blamed Nuvo for his own death, claiming saving him was suicide and vowing never to return to the dungeon. 8 hours ago, the squad in the dungeon, heroes fell from exhaustion. Reaching the boss's room, they paused to rest. Akaba demanded Noiba heal him. The knight cut in, demanding treatment. The fire hero snapped that the guy cost them the win. Akaba ordered them up, but a girl begged for rest. Out of supplies and facing a half-day trek, the hero refused to spend a 3rd night outside. Akaba agreed, ordering the squad back. Exhausted, Nuba begged for rest, his mana gone. Suddenly he stumbled, tiles collapsing beneath him. He fell, breaking his leg. The princesses, hearing the story, couldn't believe the heroes abandoned the porter. Hermita's head throbbed. Why didn't they just ditch the cargo and carry their comrade? Magician told Princess Nuba a healer could restore mana and heal himself. She expected him to return unharmed. The alchemist explains fractures or status effects. Only advanced recovery magic or extra healing can cure them. The girl didn't know, claiming their level couldn't cure him, but her friend reminded her. She's a healer too. The hero knew the porter couldn't escape the 3rd floor alone, so he was likely still in the boss room. The girl said their group attacked seekers, so no one would help them, and they might be killed for revenge. The heroes snapped, asking if she blamed them, so she quit the team. Hero declared this adventure sucks. Crying, she demanded to go home. The princess considered sending knights, but sponsors would call the hero a failure. Riots were coming, but since they summoned these people, she couldn't abandon them. Sayaka sets out to rescue Noba, using her enhancement skill to brew a powerful potion for the porter. Her friend asked what she thought, then stopped her, questioning how she'd reach the 3rd floor with her fighting style. Mizusawa backed Sayaka, pledging to serve. Unaware his fracture needed treatment, he still offered help. Mizusawa was a versatile hero who could attack, support, and heal with old-world medical knowledge. The princess was thrilled, but worried he was exhausted from his hike. Mizusawa said they were fine, just on the 1st floor and not tired, hitting floor 3 the day after tomorrow. Akabe hated the Blue Sea hero's attitude. Worried about a non-combatant's safety, Mizusawa checked the alchemist's level. Sayaka hit level 18 yesterday. The heroes were stunned by her answer. Boasting high stats and throwing skills, she swore not to fail as Mizusawa prepped a fast squad to leave right after camp. Sayaka's friend worried, questioning her an artisan's risk, confessing she couldn't bear losing her. Sayaka promised she'd return, the alchemist nodding at the princess. The Blue Sea Heroes squad stormed the dungeon to rescue Nobai. Sika refused to run, knowing Fuji would have done the same. They tore through monsters. Nopa remembered school bullies, thinking this new world was no different as he stood helpless, sure no help would come. Naiba snaps awake to a relieved Sayaka and the Blue Sea Hero, who reveals they're here to rescue him. He gave the dehydrated porter water. The kid couldn't believe they actually came for him. Mizusawa told Neiba to thank Sayaka, her potions saved his life. Porter cried, thanking heroes, but the incident ruined Akaba's reputation, splitting his team into 3, leaving the 4 heroes openly feuding and separate. Toy trained with the knights, tormented by a cruel instructor, until muscular Gandarbin and Rosarina arrived, reducing direct fights with Balkan. Enlise felt uneasy in the castle, avoiding everyone as a criminal until the hero found her and invited her to lunch. Analyze wanted to agree but feared bothering her master. She was about to say she had work, but he took her hand. Toy ignored everyone to be with her, reminding her how she crushed those bandits. Baron met Zajian, who called freeing the goblin no problem, but the elf was harder. She belonged to a low-level criminal. Segun says the Duke can decree her release, but the public won't accept it without a reward or punishment. Remembering the girl's aging curse caused the accident, he realized punishment could be mitigated, and Zijin promised to tell the Duke while advising the hero to resume training. Ganderban's shield slam snapped Toy back to focus. He warned him to stay sharp. Toy knew this cruel bear beat the Balkan any day. Rosalina and the instructor trained nearby. She activated her skill, declaring full strength. Balkan sensed her fighting spirit too. Sensing a wild spirit, the girl refused to yield. Rosalind's fist slammed into Balkan's blade, leaving Toy stunned. They trained all week and raided dungeons every weekend. Toy ordered 5 more rounds, making the squad see the Baron as another evil coach. Hero upgraded to Rare Swordmaster. He'd met hidden boss conditions long ago, and his training unlocked it. The Swordmaster's strength lay in his counterattacks, precision strikes, and self-support. Alternating these abilities, Toy instantly defeated cows on floors. Thinking Traveler sounded weak, he dropped 200,000 yen at the temple for a class change. Toy is now the Baron of the Swordmaster's box office. Meeting Balkan, he saw people's admiration. Analyze trained with the Night Order's magician, who explained the basics of magical perception. Colleague surprised she used the skill non-stop. She explained boosting magic sensitivity improves all control, the shortest path. Eventually, they'd even distinguish people. Toy saw the magician's reactions and wondered if Analyze creeped them out. He was shocked she'd lived in total concentration mode this entire time. Salidia and Lin complained about daily training and dungeon trips. Bars noticed their levels rose sharply because of it. Jajak said they'd get much stronger following their master. 3 weeks later, terror grips the city. In the entertainment district, girls are being murdered one after another, their throats slit. The body count has already topped 10. Knights urgently patrolled the city, ending training a week early. Balkan declared futsal training complete, but would resume if needed. The man ordered the squad to patrol. Toy told Analyze he was glad training ended, but feared the serial murders. Summoned to the office, Arcane thanked the hero for training, noting his new team and Zijin's report on his companions. The man couldn't give a definitive answer yet, but promised he'd try. The Duke wants to discuss the recent murders known as the Nest Thug case. He figured Toy hadn't heard, being new to the city. Arcane reveals that 10 years ago in El Knife, Killer Nest was executed for murdering 8 girls, but now a new murder has the exact same signature. Duke reported over 10 victims, a pro-killer's work. Toy wasn't thrilled. Arkan asked about the case, but Baron was clueless, so Arkan got blunt. He needed him to take down the thug nest. Rosarina became a soldier assigned to the Gondel band. She hoped she'd work with the commander. Lin and Salidia gaped as Rosarino bathed with Mr. Toy. Gundabald reminded her she's a soldier now and must respect her master. Goblin suggested she bathe with the commander, but the bear quickly. Bathing with Salilia, Lin never thought she'd walk the maze daily, then swim in the tub. Her friend agreed. The cat hated arrogant nobles, but their master was different. Lisa called him kind, then they spotted a girl beside him and asked who she was. Hero moved his squad, labyrinth explorers and vassals, into the mansion's servants' wing because even Mondalak couldn't handle everything. Nearby servants were convenient, so he hired a cook and a maid named Kenny. Kenny adored the Baron, but she tripped right in front of him while greeting him. Toy knew Kenny was shy and hated people, but heard she was a pro solo. He helped her up and greeted her. Cook Zappa introduced himself, claiming the kitchen was his and apologizing for his blunt speech. The hero knew he was from the south, not even better than Merle's. Toy taught Zappa dishes from his world as an experiment. Zappa reproduced them perfectly and even boosted his own cooking skill. Vulcan's night patrol stopped the gifts. On the balcony, Analyze asked if Toy was thinking of the killer. He confirmed it. The Duke ordered him to handle it. Attack stopped, but the hero doubted the killer left the city. The killer would lie low until nights relaxed, then kill again. Toy refused to help, but the Duke revealed the city guard failed to find him for a month. He insisted the Baron was their best shot. Hero knew he had to agree, having asked Arcane for Analyze's release. He sighed, promising his best, but couldn't guarantee success. Toy used stealth to scour the night city, but found nothing suspicious. The young man sat, lost in thought, knowing nothing of the criminal's motives or identity. He wondered if the executed killer could rise, or if this was just a copycat. He tried to lie down, but landed on Annalise's lap. He apologized, but she patted his head, saying it reminded her of their early dungeon days. Toy recalled Annalise moved to the soldiers' barracks, blushing, wondering if romance sparked between them. A knock hits the door. It's Mondaluk. He asks what happened and learns Canny never returned from the store. Toy is shocked she went shopping so late. Julie messed up the order, so Kenny went to the store herself. She's now an hour late, and dark rumors are spreading through the city. Mondarch and his son would look for a maid. Toy stops them, says he'll find her faster. Gandalfin wanted to join the Master, but Master ordered him and his soldiers to guard the mansion. Gandalfin wouldn't yield. Toy took Boss and Jajak sprinting through the city. Kenny's store sat on the main street, safely away from the dangerous pleasure district. The hero figured the killer hunted victims where knights didn't patrol. The young man felt a bad premonition. Toy told the soldiers he'd run forward. Kenny rushed home with free groceries from a delivery error, desperate not to keep Mr. Jewel waiting. Kenny took a shortcut through the dark alley. Walking along, a sound behind her made her jump. The girl spun around, sensing a stalker. Kenny bolted as she missed the stairs and tumbled, dropping the package.